Hey everybody, so what I got here is a nice 15.5 Snakeriverfarms Gold grade brisket that I'm going to show you how I trim up. So stay tuned and we're going to get this thing nice and trimmed up. Man, what a thing of beauty these things are. Look at the marbling running through that flat. Just the flat too. Oof. It's like art. You can stare at this for hours. Alright, so let's get this bad boy trimmed up. What we do here is we're going to take off some of this. But you can see how nicely marbled that is. Take off some of this, what they do call almost like a packaging. You see it's gray right there. You want to take that off. Look at that, huh? That's beautiful. Missed a little spot there. There we go. And then we're going to be taking most of this decal off. You can see that line that runs through that. Look at that. We want this pretty uniform, so get that mostly trimmed. All right, and then I got my fillet knife. That's what I use for top of the brisket. Trim all that silver skin off. See, take all that down. All this silver skin, I want to take that off. Just trim it all up and nice. Let's see. Get that all trimmed up, nice. Yeah. Clear all that excess silver skin. That all looking nice and pretty. There we go. Oh, that little guy, come on. There we go. And that's just usually a fat vein that runs through the brisket right there. You don't want to dig too much into that. A little trick, I always just, if you're at home, I always just freeze the brisket a little bit beforehand. That helps with when it comes to wagyu, the brisket will actually, the fat will melt if it's warm enough outside and your hand's touching it a lot. It'll just melt in your hands. So make sure you got a really nice sharp knife good for trimming, and it'll keep it from getting it all slimy and straighten that up. What I'm gonna actually do is I'm gonna probably, this is not much right here. What I'm gonna do is trim this all off. Save that, I've got a little container here. Trim it completely away, because that super thin, that'll just burn off. But I tell you what, look at the marbling on that. That's gonna make some awesome burgers. So Get a nice rounded shape. Save all that for your burgers. So now we're gonna clean this up. You can pick at it as much as you want. I like them pretty clean. Totally up to you if you just whatever and throw it on. I just think it helps just build better bark if it's clean as silver skin, and rub has something to adhere to a little bit better. You lift up the brisket. It helps when you get under that silver skin too. You can see just it being out here that little bit of time, it's starting to get nice and oily from the fat. I'm gonna take all that down and out. Not trimming much off the top, but even these little scraps you can even put with your burger grind, you know? Save that and make some killer burgers. It's getting pretty close here. Get this little piece in here. Come on, guy. There we go. So it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty close. And then we will start trimming this point. So we don't want to toss the, start trimming this point down, because this will not render. This is hard fat, so you want to get rid of all that hard fat. Here. That one's pretty good. I mean, some people they dig it out, but it's all preference. You can cut a little bit off, just so. Cut this one through there. You don't want too much of a pocket there. That's when you'll start messing with where your bark sets and everything. We're getting pretty close on this side to flip it over and start trimming fat on the back side, or fat side, I guess you'd say. And then you want to trim all your fat. Well, I do. You've got so much intermuscular marbling fat inside of this point. You do not need any fat running throughout on top of it. So it's time to flip this bad boy over and get to working on. You can see it's already juicy. So I like to leave a good 1/4 of an inch of fat on the flat. This is all hard fat, and you can even save the hard fat and cook it down into tallow so you can make your own tallow. Slice this top piece off. Trim this all off. And it will start getting flies around. They start smelling it. Start smelling the fat and meat. Let's see. You can see it's just the very edge, but look at all that marbling inside of that point. You don't need fat on the outside to protect it. Switch my blade to get a little more flex. Cut away at that right there. Yeah, it's looking pretty good now. That's looking pretty good. Trim this. Down to there. And keep going. So we get right about, I'd say right about here is when I stop. That's when the point separates, usually about from the flat. So let's see. It's all by feel and look. Let's see. So that's good. Trim that off. I get a square line just so I can see a little bit better. Where the fat, I'll show you where you can see it right here. This line, there's a line right here that runs. That's the decal that runs between the flat and this point right here. So you'll see this little line. So this is where it ends, and that's where I stop pretty much trimming right there, and then leaving this all fat on for this flat. And you can see it's already getting oily just sitting here. about there. So that was a pretty good guess on my where to stop. Okay, I'm gonna want to trim this piece off. And then, let's see, get some of this off. This is that decal. Get back in here, get this all off. There we go. Throw that in that one. There we go. So that's right there is where the flat starts. So I'm gonna give this a little bit of a trimming right on this side. Trim out this decal a little bit. I'm probably just gonna do one of these right here, just so it sits better flat, and use that for burger rind. And let's see here. All right. That's pretty much basic how I trim my briskets. So I like to have a little bit up, because then I can separate it when I'm slicing, or just have this like this for while I cook. So get rid of this right here. And so yeah, that's how I do it.